everyone. Hello, football fans all over the world from Arsenal Fan TV America, from here, the USA Pacific Northwest. Welcome back. A new episode. Hey, listen, lots to talk about. Mainly, of course, Champions League just happened. But before that, we played Chelsea. So we want to talk a little bit. We will talk a little bit about Arsenal Premier League, and we will talk a little bit about Champions League. But hey, don't forget, hit that subscribe button right now. Yep. Please hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribe, like, and share. We're also going to talk about all the results from the Champions League today football. Yes, Tuesday and Wednesday. And we're also going to talk about who Arsenal plays next and when. So stay tuned. A lot in this episode. We're going to jump in right away and talk about Premier League. We're going to talk about lineups. We went and played Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. You know what? On paper, we win this game on paper because they're not doing great. Look at them. They're 12, 14 before we went in the game. We're, top of the Premier League, tied, unfortunately, with our noisy neighbors. So a lot of gap. They're not doing well. They have lots of injuries. And I expected Arsenal, to be honest, to go there and win this game. Anyways, we go to Stamford Bridge, and we're also, very eager, Arsenal fans, all of us, about who is starting in goal. And we see David Raya again. What's up now? With all these mistakes he's making, I went back to see Ramsdale's career with Arsenal to see what he's done really, really wrong. And I don't think he deserves to be benched for a David Raya. I'm sorry. David Raya has lots and lots of mistakes prior to the Chelsea game. But also, he repeatedly had these mistakes throughout the Chelsea game and the Champions League game. So I'm not sure why is David Raya starting, not Ramsdale. I'm not sure what happened between Ramsdale and Mikel Arteta. That made the relationship that bad. And now we hear that Ramsdale is talking to Chelsea. Not something as an Arsenal fan I want to hear. Ramsdale, I consider him one of the very good goalkeepers around the world. He's an England international. He is a solid goalkeeper. So I'm having a hard time. Why is he sitting out? And I'm having a hard time hearing him now talk to Chelsea about a transfer. He wants to play. He wants to play Premier League, so you can't blame him. He wants to play top flight football all the time. He does not want to sit on the bench. And talking about Ramsdale, he just had a baby, so congratulations to him. Congratulations to you, and hopefully we see him on the pitch soon. So we started the game at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge with David Raya. Okay. Left back was Zinchenko, right back Ben White, Willy Saliba, and Gabriel in the middle. Great to see. In the middle, I see Jorginho. If it's not Fabio Vieira that's starting, it's now Jorginho. He's very adamant. He did that before with David Luiz and Willian's situation when he was forcing them on the team. Now he's doing it with Fabio Vieira and Jorginho. Why? I'm not sure. Again, it's going to be always some secret puzzle about what Mikel Arteta is doing that I really cannot get to solve. So I just look at it and say, like a lot of other people that I speak to, like a lot of people that we see on the, on the screen and talking about the game. It's very mind-boggling what he's doing. I don't get it. And listen, I don't have to get it. I'm just, an Arsenal fan at this point, and I enjoy Arsenal anytime they play. I just try to analyze the game with others, analyze the game with you, analyze the game as a coach so I can learn. But again, the puzzles that Mikel Arteta puts together for his own self and his own players that nobody understands sometimes really, blows my mind. So I didn't understand that partnership in the middle, Jorginho and Odegaard and Declan Rice, because you saw most, if not all the time, that Declan Rice and Jorginho are the same player. They want to be at the same place. So it was overcrowded in a very small area. of our midfield. It was weird when they were both starting, and I did not see this partnership sinking. So, anyways, 2-2 is not bad because we almost lost. We saw what happened with David Raya when Mudryk played that ball left foot from the left side. It went on top of our goalkeeper, and it was embarrassing, and it went in. I'm not sure that Arsenal should have tied that game. I think we were much, much stronger. We should have won this game, but this game was concluded 2-2, as we all know. So it's a draw at the Premier League that puts us now tied with Manchester City. We go now and see Tottenham plays Fulham. They beat them, and Tottenham now is on top of the league. So overall, that was not really that much of a positive result in my eye. It was just a draw. We saved our mistakes. We did a lot of mistakes in that Chelsea game, and I didn't see a whole lot of creativity. I didn't see Jorginho play. I wanted to see Kai Havertz earlier. I wanted to see Eddie or Trossard earlier. But again, we saw Zinchenko had a very bad first half. Tomiyasu came in for him, and Tomiyasu did better than Zinchenko. I don't think both of them are, exceptional in that role they're playing now, which is the left back and, a second holding midfielder. I also thought that by having Jorginho and Declan Rice together, you eliminated that left back that comes in. Tomiyasu didn't have room in the midfield to operate or to receive the ball or to do what Zinchenko was doing. So again, different stuff happening in that game, and I didn't think we were solid, to be honest. So that was the result, 2-2, and that's like what I said. Now took us to be second, tied with Man City, and Tottenham is ahead of us. 2 points that we lost, that we should have gotten back with us from Stamford Bridge. But anyways, we're going to leave the Premier League and we're going to go real quick to Champions League. Over the past 2 days, we all know we saw many games, 16 games to be precise, played over Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So we're going to go to results right away. The first game, of course, that we started on Tuesday was Bayern Munich playing Galatasaray. Where? In Turkey. Well, let me tell you, all the football fans around the world or the soccer fans know that Galatasaray, Turkey, is a very, very hostile place, very, very difficult place to go play at because the fans play a tremendous role. They don't stop. They're behind their team the whole time. And we go there to see a great game between Galatasaray and Bayern Munich that is now one of 4 that still play 3-1-3. So won all 3 games that they played, including, of course, that Galatasaray game. Galatasaray, Icardi scored a nice penalty, and we thought that things are going to get ugly for Bayern Munich, but it didn't. Bayern Munich came back right away, and they were able to conclude that game 3-1. They're on top of their group, again, 1-3. So that's one of 4 teams, like I said, and we're going to talk about every team that has 3 wins so far because, of course, that is exceptional. They're already qualified or automatically qualified to the next round, pretty much all 4 of them. The next game was Internazionale. They took on Salzburg in Italy, San Siro. Again, one of the places you don't want to visit. Inter were hot on the day. They were able to capitalize on their home turf advantage and win 2-1. Next, we'll go to Manchester United. Manchester United played Copenhagen. If they lose, they're out, basically, because that's not going to look good for them. They're not going to make it. But they were able to be kept in Champions League and still have a hope to qualify to the next round by Onana, their goalkeeper, their most hated, and Harry Maguire. They both played a great game. Onana was able to save a penalty, and Man United were able to win over Copenhagen 1-0 to keep their hopes alive in the Champions League. Also on that same day, Tuesday, Lens played PSV. Those, of course, are the 2 other teams in our very group. And the result was very, very positive towards Arsenal more than anyone else. Why? Because they drew 1-1. So now they both have a point each. Arsenal, which is, of course, was, I think, one of the best games that Gabby Jesus has ever performed in. Arsenal beat Sevilla on the day 2-1. Gabby Jesus played a huge part, of course, in both goals, and I think was man of the match. he made that amazing turn and pass to Martinelli to score the first goal. And the second goal, he took it on himself in the second half and scored it. What a wonderful goal from inside of the 18, taking the defender in and taking it right foot right away. So, hey, listen, Gabby Jesus, that's what you should be doing game in and game out. But he was fantastic on the day. Arsenal won 2-1. Now they are on top of their group. Yes, Group B, Arsenal is on top of it. Moving on Tuesday also, Sporting Braga and Real Madrid game. That was played at Braga's home ground. And guess what? Real Madrid, of course, as we all know, they just don't lose in group stages. They just don't. So Real Madrid were able to beat Sporting Braga 2-1, and they are one of these 4 teams that did not lose a single game yet. So they have 3 games played and 3 wins, so they have 9 points, and they're on top of their group. Next, we have Union Berlin that played Napoli. Napoli were able to go to Germany, Union Berlin, and beat them at their own ground 1-0. A great result by Napoli. Benfica also took on Real Sociedad, and that was a 1-0 Real Sociedad. Kieran Tierney is doing good. Him and his team, they are flying. They're playing real good football, and also they're on top of their group. Beat Benfica at Benfica's ground or home turf 1-0. And that was the last game of Tuesday games, of the 8 games on Tuesday. Now we go to Wednesday, the other 8 games played. First game Wednesday, the second day was Feyenoord. Of course, we know the Dutch team from Holland were taking on Lazio, the Italians, at their home turf, Feyenoord home turf. And Lazio lost that game 3-1. One of the unexpected results. The Dutch team is really flying, playing great football, and they were able to beat Lazio. The second game, Barcelona took on Shakhtar Donetsk, and Barcelona is now the third of these 4 teams, joins Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, for the unbeaten teams so far that won every single game. So they're unbeaten, of course, but they also won all 3 games, so they have 9 points. Barcelona are also ahead of their group. Next, Celtic took on Atletico Madrid, one of the best games to watch, or what a great watch that was. 2-2 it ended up. Atletico Madrid had a red card, lots of events. Watch that game. It's a great game. Next, PSG took on AC Milan in France. Of course, we all know that Kylian Mbappe grew up supporting AC Milan. We saw that post all over the internet about his mother talking about how he came back from school, always will check the AC Milan game. He spoke Italian. He would cuss some Italian words if they lost or didn't have a good game. But he was apparently an AC Milan diehard. Now he gets to play them or against them at the Paris Saint-Germain home turf, of course, Parc des Princes. And it was a good game, good watch. Kylian Mbappe scored, of course, for Paris Saint-Germain and beat AC Milan 3-0. Didn't look too good for AC Milan. They did not show up. They didn't know how to deal with Dembele and Kylian Mbappe's pace. I didn't think that the AC Milan also managed, AC Milan manager managed the game well. So again, 3-0 PSG, AC Milan. It was heavy. We go to the next 2 teams in that very group, Borussia Dortmund and Newcastle. And it was a wild game. It was played at St. James's Park in England, Newcastle's home ground. And you would expect after beating PSG that they'll, get a good result, at least a draw with Borussia Dortmund. However, no, they did not. Borussia Dortmund were able to win this very game 1-0. And again, very weird result. And this is really the group of death. Now Milan is at the bottom. PSG is at the top in that group. And again, it's still going. We're going to have to wait and see. Next, RB Leipzig took on Crvena Zvezda. The German Giants were able to beat them 3-1. Young boys, Manchester City, of course. That's the last of the 4 teams that won all 3 games out of 3 games. So they have 9 points. They won that one too. They beat Young Boys at Young Boys Stadium 3-1. And the last game of that day was Antwerp and Porto. And Porto were able to beat Antwerp 4-1 at their own turf to conclude the second day for Champions League football. Again, some games Bayern Munich, Galatasaray, Real Madrid, Braga, of course, Arsenal, Sevilla, and Atletico Madrid, Celtic. Those are games that you really want to watch. Dortmund, Newcastle, PSG, Milan. Again, a lot of great games that you should be watching. Barcelona played their second team in kids versus Shakhtar Donetsk, and they presented great, football. So, hey, listen, a lot of promising teams and promising players, and a lot of beautiful Champions League football was played over the past 2 days. You got to go back. You got to watch the highlights. They're all over the place, but you're going to enjoy a whole lot of football. Arsenal go next on the 28th, which is this upcoming Saturday, to play Sheffield United in the Premier League at the Emirates Stadium. Listen, this is a game we have to win. We must win so we can keep up with Tottenham. Come on, you Gunners. I'm waiting for that game, and I'm waiting for another win for Arsenal. Great game, Champions League. Let's continue building on that win. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I will see you next episode. Goodbye now.